there's a big story coming in from the world of football. A day after the Independence Day, all of India woke up to the fact that India's football body, AIFF, has been banned by FIFA. Why have they been banned? FIFA say that there have been external influences, and by external influences they mean that the governing body of football is being run by a committee of administrators appointed by the Supreme Court. Now, the administrators have been in place since 2017. The matters were running fine until the 18th of May 2022, when the Supreme Court decided to throw out Praful Patel and his committee of 27 members, and saying there will be a 3-member administrative committee in place that will amend the constitution and call for elections. Subsequent to all of this, there have been meetings between the COA and the state associations. There has not been a consensus on the constitution. FIFA today slapped a ban on AIFF, which is an indefinite ban, and after this the centre has got involved, which means Government of India has got involved in all of this, because this means that India is stripped of the rights to hold the Under-17 Women's World Cup, which are scheduled to happen between October 11th and 30th. Now, with centre stepping in, they have sought a urgent hearing in Supreme Court tomorrow. So all eyes will be on Supreme Court on the way forward. Supreme Court is expected to decide the modalities of election. Before all of that happened, earlier today I spoke to Rahul Mehra, the petitioner, whose petition was heard by the High Court, Delhi High Court initially, and that led to the ouster of Praful Patel, the ex-head of All India Football Federation, who was there for as long as 13 years.
Now, Rahul, all of this happened in 2000. Since then, the COA has taken charge of AIFF. But why such a delay in elections that now has eventually led to banning of the Indian Federation?
So in 2017, the division bench of the Delhi High Court had asked Mr. Praful Patel to step down and for fresh elections to happen. Mr. Patel and AIFF, which he headed till recently, challenged it in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court then found a way out by modifying that order, saying that the constitution should be actually looked into and finalized by a committee of administrators. That order subsequently for the next, it took almost 2.5 years for the committee to come up with the constitution, and then last 2.5 years the entire countries and courts are grappling with the situation of COVID.
Why did it take so long? Because what I understand is elections had to be held in 3 months.
Because the Supreme Court intervened and there was a stay on the Delhi High Court order, the judgment which was passed by the Delhi High Court, and since there was a stay by the Supreme Court, there was no mandate to hold elections for within the 3 months. That mandate has recently come back again when the matter came up once again before the Supreme Court after 5 years, and recently before the summer vacations in May, the Honorable Supreme Court held that the elections must happen, and they added on another member, Honorable Justice Dave, as a part of the committee of administrators, third member of the committee, and then they finalized the constitution in the next 1 month or so. Timelines were given, very strict timelines by the Supreme Court, which were adhered to by everybody, and on 3rd of August the Supreme Court has come up with an interim measure to ensure that the Under-17 Women's FIFA World Cup, which is scheduled to take place in India, does take place.
But FIFA had threatened India around 8th of August, 7th or 8th
There's no threatening by FIFA and others. These are all, the allegation is, and the COA is on record on that, the Committee of Administrators have filed an application seeking contempt proceedings against Praful Patel and some of the other state federation bosses, asking the court to take notice of the interference in the administration of justice while the matter is in the Supreme Court.
And how was there interference in
Because while the matter was pending in the Supreme Court and is still pending in the Supreme Court, there is a mandate and there is an order of the court after extensive and exhaustive hearings, where all parties were heard, including all the 35 state federations, there was a mechanism which was brought out, and these very state federations then went ahead and at the back of it, with Mr. Praful Patel at the helm, asked FIFA for certain letters to be brought in. These are all, I have no doubt in my mind, and if investigated into, which I'm sure in the days to come, the Honorable Supreme Court will look into it. AIFF bosses have actually ensured that this letter comes in. They are the ones who have been egging on FIFA to ban India.
Well, we'll hear more on that. This is a statement coming in from former Indian captain Baichung Bhutia on the suspension. He says, very unfortunate that FIFA has banned Indian football, but at the same time, I feel it's a great opportunity for all the stakeholders, the federation, the state associations to come together and get the system right and everybody work for the betterment of Indian football. I'm joined at this hour by Gianni Merlo, the President of International Association of Sports Journalists, also joined by Anadi Barua, former coach of women's Indian football team. Mr. Barua, let me come to you first. With now the government getting in and asking for an urgent hearing from the Supreme Court on this matter, how hopeful are you that this whole situation will be resolved and India might get back the Women's Under-17 World Cup?
First of all, as a coach,
Mr. Barua, you are on mute.
World Cup football going on October 11 is a prestigious tournament. Near over 211 countries participate all over the world, and India also hosts it first time. This is for good achievement for the football Indian team, but unfortunately, FIFA ban all things is happened to all the players. How can they motivate all the players? Means nobody can play for the country. This is a setback for Indian football.
It's a sad state right now. No one can play for the country. Gianni Merlo, let me come to you. You've seen other associations getting banned, also coming back to the fold. Would you say the problem here really is a bit of an ego hassle between the Committee of Administrators and FIFA at the moment and disagreement on the electoral collage?
I think that FIFA this is only a suspension, so it's not that they are banned forever. So I think that the matter can be solved in time to have the women competition. I think that usually the world of sport is worried sometimes when there are influence from outside the world of sport to change something. And I think that FIFA has taken this position. And the fact is clear because the position was taken with the unanimous vote of the executive committee. So it means that there are no doubt about that an action must be taken to help the Indian Federation in the future to be more independent as is possible, because I think that the interference, they consider the decision of the Supreme Court an interference in the world of sport. It's something that happened in many countries after everybody can find political solution to solve the problem.
Right.
I think that this moment is very emotional because when arrives the news, everybody has a kind of reaction. No, it's quite normal. But we have to see in the next days when people will discuss the matter, because even for FIFA, it's not easy to bring a tournament in another place or to cancel a tournament.
So you think that in the end, the matter can be resolved and India can have the Under-17 World Cup back?
Yes, I think that it depends by the goodwill of the Supreme Court to understand the motivation of FIFA and even the people of the federation, because I think that it's very different, the Indian Federation to the other international federation, because it's very special. You're a country with 1 billion and 4 million people. And I think that is very complicated sometimes to organize a sport on the national level, no? So sometimes some contradiction can come out, but I think that is in the interest of even of FIFA to continue.
Mr. Marlow, you know, things were being run by the Committee of Administrators since 2017. The matter was held up due to COVID. Then in 2020, once again, they set up an ombudsman to run the affairs, while Praful Patel, the man who was in charge of AIFF for almost 13 years, ran the show. In fact, matters came to a head on 18th of May when Praful Patel was removed. Subsequently, he wrote a letter to AIFF, to FIFA, saying that this is conflict of the FIFA clauses, that Committee of Administrators run the system. Would you think that that letter may have triggered the suspension, just pointing out to the FIFA authorities what was already happening?
Yes, I think that they decided on the fact that there was an external interference. So for this reason, now I think that they can begin the discussion and investigate to the fact. And I hope that will be find as usually a nice compromise. But after to rebuild the federation and the full independence from all the other part of the political party in the country, so sport can be restored fully independent.
Mr. Barua, let me come to you, ask you, how much do the women footballers now stand to lose? The under-17 football team was preparing for this show. They were in Jamshedpur for almost a year and a half. How much would that team be affected now?
I agree with you. Last Asian Cup, they can't play football matches because of the COVID. 2-3 girls, they have a COVID. Whole team is don't play that under 17 qualifying round. Now, this is the chance to play for World Cup for the Indian girls team. But unfortunately, FIFA banned all the tournaments. We motivate all the players for playing national level, international level. So this is very drawback, or I say this is a black day for Indian football.
Gianni Marlow, I would like to have one last word from you and really want to ask you what happens to the future of the Indian footballers internationally. Can they now be recruited by agents across the globe, or does that also come to a stop? They can't have a pathway to international clubs. And what happens to the future of those who are already playing international football?
I think that even in this case will be found a way, because in this moment, in all the sport, especially football, there is a big evolution. Big evolution, it means that the world of football has also to find out a better balance between the so-called agent and how the players are going from a country to another country, and because it is a big responsibility. In this moment, sometimes there are situations that are similar to the jungle situation,
right?
And I think that is necessary also to put order in that. It's not easy in this political moment that is very tense around the world, because with war, with other situation, it's not easy to concentrate only how to solve the small problem of some player, no? But I think that is in the interest of FIFA and the interest also of the sport to find the right solution.
Right. Thank you very much, Anadi Barua and Gianni Marlow, for joining me at this hour on the issue of India having been banned by AIFF, stripping it of the hosting rights of the under-17 Women's FIFA World Cup.